Hello guys and gals, and welcome. So today I have the exciting opportunity to announce a new series, which will be continuing for 32 episodes. And the reason why it's going to continue for exactly 32 episodes is because it's going to be about the set items. Hopefully, those of you who are very well versed in Diablo can probably already tell what's going on. This is the Death set. Now, I actually do already have an entire series on the set items. I did an entire video going over every single set item in the game, but they have enabled the ability to upgrade these set items, and I was excited at the prospect of testing out these set items and talking about what they could potentially be useful for. This particular set is a very powerful one that was always held back by the quality of the items, and I have a hunch that we are going to have some very nice upgrades with this particular set. As we go forward, though, I will be taking a look at every set and upgrading every single one and talking about the effects of those sets. So without further ado, let's dive into Death's set. So Death's set is a relatively low-level set at level 6, and it just is extremely low. It is probably one of the best sets that you can put on at level 6, just simply because it has a massive amount of damage and bonuses which will assist you at level 6. The 25 to 75 cold damage on the sword is massive. For level 6, and the main issue with the sword is actually getting the stats to wear it, because it does require 45 dex and 71 strength, which most characters will not have at level 6, which is a bit of a downside. So before we talk about all of the set bonuses and everything, let's talk about each individual item. So Death Sword is 10 to 25 damage, which at level 6 is relatively high. It does have a durability of 44, which is nice because a lot of those items have relatively low durability around this level and they break rather quickly. The 45 dex and 71 strength is a big downside for this weapon because you just generally don't have that much to wield it. At level 6, it's actually a really sweet sword if you can put it on. The 25% enhanced damage, of course, is nice for our lower level character, but it's probably going to wane off very quickly as you upgrade the item. The 4% lifesteal is sweet to have at low level, and it does do enough damage to actually utilize that 4% lifesteal. It can be socketed if you wanted to, so if you wanted to put a socket in this and socket something into it. The only real big issue with this, though, is that if you actually wanted to use this on a level 6 character, most of the things that you would socket into this would increase the level. Maybe you would put a Hell Rune in here, though, because Hell Runes do not have a level requirement, and they would reduce the dex and strength requirements and maybe make this usable. So maybe not a bad idea. We also have 25 to 75 cold damage on the green bonus for this item, which is a pretty massive amount of cold damage for this level, which pretty much beefs your damage up to 85 to 150 on just a regular attack. And at level 6, 25 to 75 cold damage is enough to kill just about everything that you come across. You can also wield 2 of these, but the damage does not stack. So if you put another one on the other hand, it will apply that cold damage to that attack, and this sword applies the cold damage to that attack. So you end up with 2 swords that both have the cold damage, but not stacking together in a like 150 cold damage for each attack. It doesn't quite work that way. It's an interesting sword, and it does have a lot of downsides with the plus requirements, or the high requirements there. I think that most people kind of just ignore the sword when it comes to this set, but we're going to go over the full bonus as well. So Death's Hand Leather Gloves. These are absolutely excellent finds at level 6. If you can get your hands on these, I would recommend using these for most low-level characters in Act 1. They have 50% poison resistance and 75% poison length reduction, which make fighting Andariel a breeze. And if you put on at least one other piece in the set, you get a 30% increased attack speed, which is absolutely great. Not a lot of gloves have 30% increased attack speed at this level, and these do. We also have Death Sash. Now, Death Sash is defense 22, and it has 4 belt slots, which is probably its most unredeeming feature. The very low number of belt slots on this is just really, really sad. And this is probably the only reason that people don't use this belt more often. We also have 20 defense added to this, cannot be frozen, and the green bonus for 2 pieces is all resistances 15. which is pretty darn sweet. Now, as a full set, we get a bonus of plus 10 to minimum damage, which is amazing at level 6. Plus 10 to minimum damage is enough that literally you could just take this off and you could just punch things. But see, the 10 to minimum damage goes away when you take off the sword. So you don't get to keep most of these bonuses if you're only wielding 2 pieces. We also get a 40% bonus to attack rating, which is pretty huge. As you can see, I go from 985 to 1,379, which is a pretty large upgrade. We also get a 8% lifesteal bonus, which is actually a 2-piece bonus. So if you look at the just wearing 2 pieces, you'll notice that you still get the 8% lifesteal, which is pretty cool. And then all resistances 25. Now, honestly, most people who are going to use this set are going to use it in the 2-piece configuration, which is the 30% increased attack speed with 8% lifesteal, and the all resistances 15 with cannot be frozen. These 2 pieces right here are just an amazing combo, and they would make their way into more builds if it weren't for the fact that the Death Sash just has absolutely no potion slots. But we're going to fix that today. So the next thing we're going to explore is we're going to upgrade this set, and we're going to take a look at it. Actually, before we do that, let's talk about really quickly who could utilize this set. So any character that's a melee character or a ranged character is probably going to really love Death's set. Cannot be frozen is absolutely imperative for melee characters at a low level, and getting cannot be frozen at level 6 is just super clutch. The 30% increased attack speed is absolutely amazing, and having 30% increased attack speed on gloves is really, really good. You also get the 8% lifesteal, the all resistances. I mean, this whole set really screams a melee or a ranged character who's in there fighting. So you're talking about Amazons, you're talking about Paladins. It would probably be really good on a Druid. There are quite a few characters who could utilize this 2-piece set. And the other really cool thing about this 2-piece set is that you can utilize it with other sets. So you could be wearing partial other sets. You could be wearing like Hasuras, or you could be wearing partial Saigons, or you could be wearing partial Irathas, or whatever it is that you want to wear. There is definitely room to spare here. I mean, you've got 2 ring slots, you've got an amulet slot. You could do 2-piece or 3-piece angelics for the attack rating. You got the boots, the shield, the armor, the helmet, and if you're not using the sword, you even got the sword slot open up. So I mean, Death's is a really powerful set, and I wouldn't underestimate it, especially in like low-level dueling and stuff like that, because I mean, you get cannot be frozen, you get 30% increased attack speed, and you get all resistances 15, all of which will be very nice. And if you're going up against a rabies druid or a poison necromancer, the 50% poison resist and 75% reduced length reduced is also nice. Alright, so let's get to upgrading these items. Let's do the sword first. I don't feel like the sword is going to be a good upgrade, but we're going to do it anyway. So we need a Ral, a Soul, and a Perfect Emerald. And then we're going to upgrade this from 10 to 25, 45 Dexterity, 71 Strength, and level 6 requirement, to 22 to 53, 88 Dexterity, 127 Strength, and level 25 requirement. So that upgrade from Tier 1 to Tier 2 was pretty massive on the physical damage. I feel like the physical damage went up a lot, but the strength and the dex went up crazy amounts too. And at level 25, I don't know very many characters that are going to have 88 Dexterity and 127 Strength. I mean, even if we just like calculated out the number of points, like let's say you just hit 25, right? Times 5, that's 125 points to spare, plus 5 for the Act 3 quest, right? So that's 130. So you'd have a total of 130 points to spend, which means it would probably have to be a barbarian that has higher strength starting. And even then, I'm not really quite sure if you'd be able to make it. You would probably need plus strength and plus dex equipment on various pieces of gear. I think that's always been the issue with the Death Touch sword, is that the strength and dex has always been just too high for the level requirement, and I don't really know why. And that's really odd. See, the required level says 25, but then when I put the sword on, the required level goes to 30. What is that about? That seems to be a quirk of the new system, I suppose. Is it everything changing level? No, just the sword. That's odd. That's very odd. Why would the sword change its level requirement when you put it on. Huh. Crazy. So you have to be level 30 to use it then. In the set, maybe? Is the set bonus is what's causing it? The set bonus is what's causing it. That's interesting. So the set bonus is actually increasing the level of the item. That's crazy. All right, so let's upgrade this. Let's upgrade the other pieces first, shall we? So we're going to upgrade Death's Hand, and Death's Hand is 3 defense, so it's not going to be much of an upgrade here. I mean, we'll get a little bit of extra defense out of this, but because it has no base defense increase, it's not going to be that great. So we need a Shale, a Tal, and a Perfect Diamond, and we're going to upgrade this from 3 defense, level 6, to 30 defense, level 21, with a strength requirement of 20. Interesting. And so level 21... and when we put them on, it goes to level 26. So that's very interesting. The level requirement of the items is increasing when we put the items on. I wonder if that is intended. So this is on public test realm, by the way, because these changes have not hit live yet. I was just super excited to make my first upgrading items video, and that's an interesting little side effect there with the set bonuses. So the next on the list is the sash, and I'm actually really excited about the sash because the sash is going to go from the measly 4+ potion slots to the maximum potion slots. So we're going to go from 22 defense and level 6 to 54 defense and 12 potion slots with level 24 requirement and 20 strength. And it looks like when we put it on, again, we go from level 24 to level 29. That's very interesting. So as of right now, if we were to throw this 2-piece bonus on, it is now a level 26 and level 29 requirement. And with the 8% lifesteal, the all resistance is 15, the cannot be frozen, the 30% increased attack speed, the 8% lifesteal, the maximum potion slots now, and the increased defense, I actually rather like this set for a lot of maybe mid-tier melee characters. That's actually pretty sweet. The sword, however, not so much. The sword didn't really upgrade enough to be super worth it, but it's still doing 121 to 234, which I suppose could be decent at level 30, but you're going to be outliving that pretty quickly. Now we're going to upgrade this one more time to the highest level possible, and we're going to take a look at this. So first we're going to do the sword. So to upgrade the sword to the highest level possible, you're going to need the Pole Rune, the Lum Rune, and the Perfect Emerald. And this is going to go from 22 to 53 damage, 88 dexterity, 127 strength, level 25, to 50 to 62, absolutely terrible upgrade, 124 dexterity, 147 strength, and level 66. So, and then when you put it on, the level requirement is going up to level 78. Talk about an endgame item there. This is not worth the 3rd tier upgrade. The Mythical Sword really kind of just bottoms out at the tier 1 because it doesn't have enough enhanced damage. If it had like 200 or 300% enhanced damage to it or something, it might be okay, but the 25 to 75 cold damage, peters out relatively quickly, which means that the full set bonus is really only usable at around level 6 when you can put on the Death's Touch sword, and as soon as Death's Touch sword becomes useless, you might as well just not even wear it. So let's go ahead and upgrade the gloves next. So for that, we're going to need a Lem, a Co, and a Perfect Diamond. And these are going to go from 30 defense, 20 strength, level 21, to 61 defense, 50 strength, level 42. That's actually not a bad 3rd tier upgrade. That's actually pretty solid. It looks like when you put them on, they do go to level 54 requirement. But that's actually a pretty solid upgrade for a 3rd tier. I would if I was utilizing those on a character specifically for the increased attack speed, the cannot be frozen, the lifesteal, the all resistances, I would see doing that as a 3rd upgrade. That's not bad. Strength requirement didn't go through the roof, and the level requirement really didn't go through the roof. So it's interesting. So now we're going to do Death's Guard Demon Hide Sash, which is 54 defense, 20 strength, level 24. And now we already got the belt slot upgrade, so that's not really what's going on here. We're going to be upgrading the defense on this. So so let's see what this goes to. So now it is 81 defense, 50 strength requirement, level 46. You know, not a bad upgrade. Death Sash and Death's Gloves really got a nice upgrade on this. And unfortunately, the level 46 requirement did go up to level 58 with the set bonus. I'm not sure if that's intended, so so you know, we'll keep that as a an advisory, but it might be something that is a bug in the patch. So let's assume for right now that the level requirement of this is level 46, but right now, if they don't fix it, the level requirement goes up to 58 when equipped in the set. It's got to have something to do with the green bonuses being added, increasing the level requirement and how the level requirement is calculated. It's interesting. It does look a little bit more attractive at level 42 and 46 than it does at level 54 and 58, so I hope they adjust that. Overall, Death Set is probably just one of the most amazing little two-piece sets, and I say two-piece sets because Death Touch Sword is ignored, unless you're level 6. If you're level 6, you can actually use 2 of these, believe it or not, and you can just run around murdering everything with the cold damage. But when people look at Death's set, they're really looking at this two-piece bonus, this amazing two-piece bonus here. And on any character that is a melee or range character, this two-piece bonus is just absolutely amazing. And maybe you're just a sorceress who just wants to grab Cannot Be Frozen for a little while and have max potion slots. Upgrading Death Sash could certainly do that for you. Now, there is a better option for Cannot Be Frozen on belts at endgame, which is Trangul's belt. Trangul's belt has Cannot Be Frozen. But keep in mind that Death's Guard Spiderweb Sash is level 6. And then you can upgrade it one time, and you can utilize the full potion slots, and you can utilize Death Sash all the way up to to max level. Granted, it doesn't have the most amazing stats on it, but just simply a belt with Cannot Be Frozen is kind of hard to beat early game when you don't have any other source of Cannot Be Frozen. If you were a lower level character who just started a ladder, for instance, or something like that, and you found yourself a Death Sash, you probably are going to be using Death's Guard Sash quite a lot, and maybe you'll upgrade it to a Spiderweb Sash. Who knows? I feel like upgrading it 1 tier is a pretty solid upgrade, but upgrading it to the 2nd tier is costly. I'm not going to say that upgrading it to the 2nd tier is a bad upgrade, because I feel like it's a good upgrade, but it's costly. So consider that, and it's not necessarily needed to upgrade it to the third. The 3rd tier. Death's... What is it called? Death's Disguise. Yes, Death's Disguise. Well, guys and gals, I'm bringing my first episode of sets to an end. I would like to hear your feedback on these episodes, because I do plan to do 32 of them, so let me know what you think. If you're interested in finding this particular set, you can go over to Silo's Pen and you can look it up. I'm going to take a brief look at Silo's Pen real quick, and we will see where this particular set drops from. Now, as a lower level character, you don't really have a lot of farming options, so we're going to do super uniques, and we're going to do normal difficulty. So if I was specifically trying to find this item for my my low level character, this is what I want to look at. All right, so so we have 0% magic find. We are trying to get ourselves a Death's Guard. It's normal difficulty, and we're looking at super uniques. Where do we go? So according to this, the best possible place to farm super unique Death Sash is apparently the Cow King in normal difficulty, which doesn't help us out any at level 6. So it looks like our best bet is Jail level 2 with the Pit Spawn Foul Dog. Rakanishu in Stony Field doesn't have a bad chance, and Treehead Woodfist and the Smith. So we're looking at some interesting options there. I mean, you can see Griswold's on the list, the Countess, Bone Ash. Those are all fairly good probabilities. So there's your list right there on where to find Death's Guard. Now, if you were trying to find the gloves, so each one of these is different, obviously. So Death's Hand, we're going to find this one. And it looks like the list is pretty much the same. Pit Spawn Foul Dog, Rockanishu, Treehead Woodfisk, Griswold, the Countess, Bonash. And then the sword, of course, is going to be a little bit more difficult. I think that's the one that that most people would probably not find very early on, because it does happen to be a higher level item. So the war sword doesn't drop in normal difficulty, from what I remember. It's just not really like a thing until you get later on in the acts. So once you get to like Act 4 and Act 5, you start to see war swords, and I think you can get a little bit of them from other various zones. But as you can see here, Neelathak, Grand Visor of Chaos, Infector Souls, Lord Decis, Bone Sawbreaker, Iback the Unleashed, all these are in Act 5. Not a lot of lower act monsters here. We've got Radamant apparently can drop it in Sewers level 3, which is interesting. And Stormtree in Lower Kurast, as well as Battlemaid Serena in Lower Kurast, or Ruined Temple. That's interesting that some monsters in Act 3 and Act 2 can drop them, but it's mainly in Act 4 and 5 item. So Death's Touch probably also drops from bosses too. So let's do a quick check on bosses. So we're going to do normal difficulty again, because this is something you're probably going to be wanting to find as a lower level character. And we've got pretty Diablo, Mephisto, Bale. We all have a pretty decent chance of dropping these on quest and on non-quest. And then Neelathak and Iswal have a pretty decent chance. Radamant is really high up there with 11,881. Death's Hand has a relatively low probability of dropping from Andariel compared to the super uniques that we were looking at. But yeah, you could check out Andariel and kill her a couple times. Probably get yourself Death's Hand. And then let's look at the other Death's Peath. So Death's Guard, which is the sash. So again, pretty much the same probabilities on Andariel, Bloodraven, Mephisto, Diablo. Honestly, it looks like for this set, you're better off farming the super uniques. Death set, everybody. Death's Disguise. As always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, and keep watching.